"Come, Holy Spirit, come." At Pentecost, the disciples were waiting, but they did not understand what they were waiting for. 10 days earlier in Bethany, where Jesus had raised his friend Lazarus from the dead, they had gazed up to heaven's blue skies as Jesus ascended. It was a sunny May day, the 40th day of counting the Omer, a Jewish tradition that begins during Passover and ends at Shavuot, which is Pentecost. The disciples watched until a white cloud enveloped him and he was hidden from their sight. It was a beautiful but poignant moment. They looked at one another a little sheepishly, like we might do at the end of a movie that has moved us. Suddenly, 2 men dressed in white stood beside them. "Men of Galilee," they said, "why do you stand here looking into the sky? This same Jesus, who has been taken from you into heaven, will come back in the same way you have seen him go." This made them smile. They returned the 1.5 miles to Jerusalem, singing and rejoicing through the olive groves that led to the temple, sparkling white and gold. Every day they would meet to sit below its golden vines that draped on high from column to towering column. Would today be the day? Would the Holy Spirit come as Jesus had said? The Holy Spirit came at Shavuot, of course. What more appropriate day to come down than on the festival that celebrates Moses' descent from the mountain, bearing God's law on tablets of stone. The Holy Spirit came with a rushing wind and tongues of flame that divided and entered into each of them, so that they jumped up praising God in tongues that could readily be understood by the many Jewish pilgrims from many lands gathered in Jerusalem to celebrate the giving of the Torah. How different things would be from now on in. It would be as the prophet Jeremiah had foretold. "I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people." At Jesus' crucifixion, the curtain to the temple's Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could enter, was ripped from top to bottom, symbolizing that we now have access to God. At Shavuot, a piece of Jesus came down to live inside everyone who believes. The disciples began to speak with confidence and authority about what they had experienced. They taught how the scriptures had been fulfilled. They declared their faith in Jesus as Messiah. That day, 3,000 were brought to faith. The Holy Spirit had equipped the disciples to make disciples of all nations, as Jesus had said. He told them they would be his witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. In a world that rejected Jesus to the point of crucifying him, the temptation would have been strong to remain silent, to fit in. Like them, we need to resist that temptation for the sake of the lost who need to find Jesus. We need to speak out in our families, our communities, everywhere. For how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? We are not chalking up trophies. We shouldn't worry about results. Only Jesus convicts and claims, but we can ignite the flame and make sparks fly. Why not tell someone what you believe today? To find out why Jesus ascended on the 40th day of counting the Omer and why it is counted, the significance of the 2 men who appeared to the disciples at Ascension, and the deeper meaning of the Holy Spirit's descent at Shavuot, see my notes on this post at testimonytrain.com/Holy Spirit. You can also receive your free pictorial guide to the Israel Jesus Loved at jesus-ebook.com.